Hurrah! After 1,000 years, I'm free! It's time to conquer Equestria!
Spike, Moon has escaped. Recruit a team of ponies with friendship.
Go, go, power ponies! Go, go, power ponies! You mighty morphing power ponies! I know, but with that title, I just couldn't resist. Well, so much for all the excitement I had about the title. Just as Castlemania had nothing to do with Castlevania, this episode has nothing to do with Power Rangers. Yeah, any hopes I had about Rarity Takes Manhattan having anything to do with the Muppets are fading fast. But hey, that's okay, as long as it's a good episode. So, is it? Well, honestly, I'm still not sure. It was certainly an enjoyable episode. The action was good, all the references to superhero comics were fun, and the visuals were all nice. But does any of that actually make it a good episode? Well, let's take a deeper look. So apparently Spike is a bit of a comic book nerd. Odd that character trait has never been previously brought up in over 3 seasons. But I guess they had to have someone know about the Power Ponies, otherwise the main 6 and the audience would have been lost once they entered the comic. And I guess reading comics does tie in with Spike's personality okay, so I'd say this works. What doesn't work for me is the attempt at continuity in this episode with the return to the palace from Castlemania. I do like the fact that they are trying to give us more continuity this season, but here it felt like they were just doing it for the sake of having continuity. What happened in this episode that made them being in the palace significant? Spike remembers he saw a magnifying glass last time he was there, and that's about it. So the whole of the main cast gets sucked into the comic, which enables them to interact with the events in a work of fiction. Okay, kind of off topic, but why wasn't this the setup in Daring Don't? They could have avoided all of the issues with her being real if they had done this. Okay, so just to give a quick roll call to all the references we've got here.
Is this Metropolis?
A play on Metropolis, the setting of the Superman comics.
Holy new personas, ponies!
A running gag used by Robin in the 60s Batman series.
You're the last Matterhorn!
I've been told this is based on Cyclops from X-Men, but I'm not so sure, her powers aren't the same.
Millisecond!
The Flash.
Zap!
Storm from X-Men.
Radiance!
Green Lantern. I had to look that one up as I've never read those comics.
Mistress Marvelous!
Wonder Woman. Ironically the only female character that is referenced here.
Saddle Rager!
The Incredible Hulk, though sadly Fluttershy never says, "Fluttershy smash!" at any point during the episode. I was also disappointed that Twilight didn't have Raven's powers. Not only do they both use telekinesis magic, but they have the same voice actress. So yeah, it's basically just a bunch of references to superhero comics, and the story is pretty generic and basic. But you know what? I kind of like that. This is certainly the most fun I've had watching an episode in a while. Normally these episodes with very basic plots bore me, because it's just a lot of, yeah, I get it. Applejack is making the reunion overly complex. Applebloom has cutie pox, that bird is unwell and Fluttershy doesn't know what to do. And here it's kind of like that as well, but this time it's actually enjoyable. There isn't too much crammed into any one scene. The action was good, seeing all the powers was fun, and I find the way that they are parodying the superhero comics pretty funny. The only thing I didn't like is the way that Spike seems to be nothing more than exposition for large parts of the story. Also, where did he get this idea that superheroes without powers are useless? Ahem.
Wrong!
Also, what's up with this line?
But you must have them too, Spiky Boo. Your character is wearing a cape.
Firstly, Spiky Boo? What happened to Spiky Wikey? Second, why does a cape equal superpowers? I know I just made this joke, but it begs repeating.
Wrong!
Going back to Teen Titans, wasn't one of the main ideas of that series making a sidekick the main character just to show that he can actually hold his own? Spike is actually a parody of Robin here, and he is questioning how useful he is. So here's an idea. Why not make Spike the leader? He knows much more about this world you're in, and probably much more about how the Maniac could be defeated. Wouldn't that have been a much more interesting way to explore Spike's issues with his self-worth? With that said, I do like the way that they kind of parody Spike's role in the show as comic relief. I'm guessing Megan McCarthy wrote that part, since she does seem to know how to write Spike well. Interesting that Twilight is having a lot of trouble with her powers, while Rarity and Applejack seem to have mastered theirs after just a basic summary of them from Spike. You'd think that Twilight would be able to master this sort of thing pretty quickly given her experience with magic. Also, Rarity's powers are pretty interesting and probably the most entertaining thing about the episode. I kind of want to see her use this power back in Ponyville. Now about that climax. Yeah, it's pretty generic. The villain gloats, explains her plan. The plan doesn't make much sense other than they are just evil, and they stall just long enough for the hero to be able to stop them. Again though, I kind of enjoy that. It's paying homage to all superhero stories. I have to say, I love how each of the ponies' powers tie into their character quite well. I have actually thought in the past that Fluttershy is a lot like Bruce Banner, in the sense that she can lose control when she gets angry. And how can you not love the Flutterhulk design? I want to see that again sometime. The end scene annoyed me a little. The explanation about the comic raises more questions than it answers, and the moral felt tacked on and unnecessary. But overall, this is like the Avengers of MLP episodes for me, and I don't just mean that in the sense of what it's paying homage to. I mean that, while it may not be particularly ambitious, and doesn't have any major character building or ask any thought-provoking questions about friendship, it is successful in what it's trying to do, keeping you entertained and paying homage to superhero comics. The plot is a pretty basic villain wants to take over story, and certainly not the type of episode you need to see in order to understand the show, but it's not trying to be that. For such a straightforward plot, I actually think it's pretty impressive that I was not at all bored watching this one, which is more than can be said for a lot of other basic plot episodes in this show. Is it going to show up on any best episodes lists? No. Is what happened going to mean anything for the rest of the season? Probably not. But am I glad I saw it? Absolutely.